Oh, good. Now the dog will start barking.
Don't worry, my kid will wake up now. Hello and welcome to Wellbeing Gets Real. Today I'm speaking with the lovely Leonie Marsh. And Leo, I was doing the sums and we've known each other for about 30 years. Did you know that? I know. Okay, let's move on.
I'm speechless.
So Leo is a beautiful mother of these gorgeous 4 boys and a lovely wife and a lovely friend, but also an amazing entrepreneur. And everything, I know you don't feel like this, but everything you touch turns to pure gold in my eyes. So there's the Milton Work Hub that I have had the pleasure of actually being in, and I loved it. And if I was living in Milton, which is a recurring conversation for us in our household, I would be there with bells on every day. But then there's also Airbnb. There's also producing, and the producing of the beautiful Pause podcast as well. Did you want to share a little bit about what Pause is about?
Yeah, so it's unpaused because we're unpausing.
Sorry, unpaused.
Yeah. We don't want to pause. We're all unpausing. It's a beautiful podcast by Judy Stewart.
Yeah.
And it's all about helping women reignite their careers after a break from work, whatever that break might be, or re-strategizing if they're feeling like what they're doing isn't fulfilling or satisfying, working out how do they move into an area that they would prefer to be working in. And she has done 6 seasons of these beautiful interviews with all sorts of people around Australia and actually internationally as well.
Oh, well, I mean, such meaningful work. And yeah, just based on our conversation earlier, it's really right now for a lot of us to really think about, where are we going? What do we want to do? So on that, being intentional about our direction, I just wanted to have a really quick chat with you about, are there any key wellbeing habits that you do in your busy life that give you the biggest bang for your buck, and something that you can realistically weave into your day? I'm very curious to know if there's some real kind of winners for you. Just 3 or 2 or
3. Okay. Well, I've had a good think about this, and I do change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, I always wake up naturally. There are no alarm clocks. I mean, I know everyone will think, oh, but you've got children. Sure. But I do go to bed early so that I can wake up naturally. My circadian rhythm is very important to me. And that means no phone in the bedroom, no alarm clock, all of it go away.
Yeah, I love it.
And then when I wake up, I wash my face. This is a new thing. I wash my face. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just
it's a ritual.
Yeah. I wash my face, and then this is the biggest thing of all. I go outside.
Oh, yeah.
I go outside because I was realizing I would wake up at, any time from 5:30ish.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be stepping outside till 8:45.
Yeah.
And I'd think, why do I feel disgusting?
Yeah.
So it's the first thing I do before anyone. I don't care if they're awake, just you all stay there.
Yeah.
And just go outside and look at the sky.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, do a couple of breaths, a few of these.
Yeah.
Namastes, and then I go back in.
I love that because I can relate. To that. If I haven't been, up and at 'em, it's 8:45 but before you get outside, and it's like, oh, what's the weather like? And it's actually quite nice. Whereas inside the house, it's been freezing cold, and I've been hunched up, and I've been, having the lunches and
exactly.
I like
it's just that moment of like observing nature. Another thing that I've read recently, I don't know if you follow Jodie Wilson. She's one of my favorite people. She is a yogi, and she has this blog called Practicing Simplicity, and she's just done put out a beautiful book about it as well.
Oh, amazing.
And she has 4 children. They've traveled Australia in their caravan for 2 years or 3 years anyway. But one thing that I got from her book was we as adults, we never connect. We don't connect with nature. She's like, take your shoes off and go and stand in the grass or the dirt or the sand, whatever it is. And that was such a penny drop for me, because you don't. The children are all in there getting down and raw and feeling and touching, but we don't do it. And it's that thing of, you know, we're connected. We need it. The air, the sun. Sorry about this dog, which is not my dog.
That's all right. And it's dopamine renewal. So nature is one of the best ways to restock your dopamine levels. And dopamine levels are, you know, all the distractions in life, they really deplete our dopamine levels, and, you know, instant gratification really depletes our dopamine levels. So going out into nature, and it's funny you say that, because I've been running on the smell of an oily rag lately. Just, you know, we've had this weird illness with my son who just hasn't got better, and, you know, all the other stuff that's sort of compounding. And I saw a 20-minute break where I could go out and go to the sea and just suck it up, you know, and breathe it in, and just have a bit of I'd like to say run, but it was really a sort of a shuffle walk. But it was, and I've come back, and it's just, it's a reset, and it's so amazing. That's great. Okay. So there's that. You squeeze that one in. Is there anything else that is
I mean, I meant to try and do some exercise every day, and I do an online Pilates. This incredible instructor has 5 minute, 10 minute, 12 minute.
Yeah.
So I try and do one of those. I don't care if it's like this morning, I literally laid on the mat, did a 4-minute listening to the music.
Brilliant.
And again, it's all about the durations have to be so short for me to get it in. But then on those days that I don't get it done, that's okay too. I'll try and walk to school. Or I mean, it's all about trying to be nice to yourself.
Yeah. And moving.
It's
movement, you know, it's like there's an escalator and there's some stairs. I'll go and grab the stairs. You know, it's just those moments of choices throughout your day. And you really spoke to tiny habits, or, you know, this idea of tiny is mighty, and let's not try and, you know, run the 10Ks every morning. Let's do some movement that counts. I love that there's the satisfaction in a 3-minute, you know, peachy bum squeeze kind of thing for Pilates. It just it gets the endorphins going, and it gives you a bit of energy. And I think focusing on what you can do, because one day your little boys aren't going to be, you know, so tiny forever. They're going to grow up, and that time is going to extend eventually. I mean, eventually the fourth one will be a little bit older.
Yeah, well, that was silly, wasn't it? I've just gone
Not
back to the
at all.
beginning.
He's
eight years
divine.
later.
He's
divine.
He's divine.
He's divine. I mean, I must say, children do keep you very present. Like my husband and I always talk about the phones that we feel like they're evil.
Yeah.
I need to put it in a cupboard, but the children keep me so right here in the zone. I mean, basically, because he's trying to walk and going to do some terrible damage if someone's not watching.
Well, hey, you know, whatever works.
That's right. That's one plus of having them.
I love it. So there's what we've spoken about is this idea of making sure you go to bed. What do you have a special time? Do you have a sleep curfew kind of thing?
Well, I didn't, and I was going to bed so early that I was literally waking at about 4, and then felt a bit sick at sort of morning tea time. So now I have to force myself to stay out of bed. I want to be in bed at 9 o'clock. I read for a long time, and the phones are way before then. Like no screens at least an hour before I go to bed, and then I always have to read.
I love it. That's my chronotype too. 9:30. If I'm in bed, the world is a great place. So you've got then your ritual of waking up, washing your face, going outside, so that you breathe that air in. You get grounded with nature, get that dopamine hit, so that you're not, you know, waiting until 9 before you get outside. And then there's this idea of what was the last one?
Well, a little bit of movement.
Movement. Yes.
And I'd say a glass of water. Just get one big glass of water in there straight away.
Straight away. Yeah. So when does that happen though? How do you, like, do you wake up, wash your face, go outside and then?
Yeah, I got wash face out, and on my way outside, get the water. Anchoring your habits.
That's it. So That's why I asked. Yeah, you've got to just put one habit on top of each other so that it's not floating around by itself. Yeah.
And another one I've just added, which I got from Chelsea Pottinger, our friend.
Yeah.
Brushing my teeth with the non-dominant hand. I don't know what that's meant to do, but is that keeping me present? Because I'm really like,
It's definitely keeping you present, but it's also stimulating different neural connections. And so, you know, it's a habit to brush with your dominant hand. And so then when you do your non-dominant hand, it's stimulating different neural connections and absolutely keeping you present in the moment because it's awkward. So yeah, it's a really fascinating thing. A lot of people sort of try it and then they stop doing it because it's too much energy. Because our brain doesn't like you to try something different. That's why starting a new habit is really hard, because it goes, no, that's energy. And I want to save energy to walk my 17 Ks a day, you know, because that's what our brain was sort of wired to do. And so that's why it's so hard to kind of keep up with those weird little things of non-dominant hand use or starting a new habit. And so back to like that practicing of kindness, we need to really appreciate that, we are trying to do things that our brain doesn't want to do. And so those tiny little Pilates habits that you're doing is a really great way of saying it's okay, brain, to put energy towards this. Like, this is worthwhile, and you know, this is what we're going to do. Otherwise, it's going to shut you down.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, sleep, water, nature, movement. I love it. It all sounds, you know, it's something you can do in amongst all your different hats that you wear.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking.
As you say, tiny movements. That's what it is.
Yeah, tiny habits. Tiny.
Do you want my family habit, my family ritual?
Oh, yes, I do. That's what I was going to ask at the end. Yes. Sorry.
I'm not. Am I pushing you too far ahead?
No. We're wrapping up. I totally forgot that I was going to wrap up. I forgot we were going to do this.
Well, the one thing we really try and do is eat dinner together. All six of us.
Yeah.
Baby in the high chair. Now, some of us are having different meals, blah, blah, but like that is the time where we all sit together. It lasts for about 7.5 minutes, mind you. But we all sit down, we set the table, and then we go around and we say one good thing that's happened today, or what's your gratitude, we say.
Yeah.
And everyone gets involved in that. And
that is such a nice way to close out the day. You know, it's a safe way of come home. They know this is what they're doing. And, you know, my 4-year-old even goes, right, what are we thankful for? Like they get it, you know. I mean, it's
the 4-year-old's the best one. He has like 5 or 6 every night. We could all learn a lot.
Well, Leo, what a gift you are giving to your children to get that as a bit of a ritual for you too, and yourselves.
As I say, it's a tiny period.
Hey, tiny is mighty, as we have discovered. Tiny is mighty. Beautiful tradition. I love it. Well, thank you very much. Let's be on our way and do the many thousands of things with presence.
Great to see you, my love.
Really cool to see you too. I love this. It's it's a nice way to catch up.
Yeah, right. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me. Lots of love. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.